Hey everybody, this is Rydo and we are back with another recording of Hearthstone. Today is Wednesday, April 25th, and we are trying to get, I guess we're kind of breezing through the daily quest. We're on the Americas account. I may actually need somebody just to play me, just so I have more to do later on, because we've got this tavern brawl that we need to do. And then that's kind of it. So let's come over here and choose Rogue, so we might have some combo cards. And I'm trying to burn through news because I'll have a special I'll have a special stream tomorrow for the single player expansion. Tragic Master says I can play. Well, let's see if I can get the Tavern Brawl. Wait, I mean, you can actually friend request me to play the Tavern Brawl too. So after this game, I guess we can do that. Also, the April Xbox update will allow variable refresh rates. I'm not sure why you would want a variable refresh rate. It seems kind of crazy, but it might be helpful in some games. And I haven't looked at the Xbox One interface. This looks like such a mess under the advanced settings. So I'm gonna claim ignorance and skip that article and move on, since that probably only matters to a very small amount of people. We have a game on Steam called Demon's Rise: Lords of Chaos. Came out April 24th. What kind of game is this? Tactics and cover, hex grid, characters, kind of like an XCOM-like game. This is a strategy action RPG with gore and violence. Yep. So it's a hex grid, moving characters around in a range to attack the enemies. Let's see, 40% off for $4.19. I want to see who this developer is. Let's see, they've made also Strike Team Hydra that came out December 8th, 2017, and Demon's Rise: War for the Deep, which came April 13th. Oh, apparently this is going to be another game. So they're already planning for April 30th to release a different game like a week later. That tells me something pretty obvious, that this is not a game you want to waste your money on. You don't release two games at the same time. Let's see, what's the one negative review? It says, for £3, I still think it's overpriced. Everything is just painful, from choosing 6 of 20 Champions Heroes characters with nothing but hit points and action point numbers to go on. Is this a mage, a healer, a tank? Like, who knows? Let's try this. And try this. Just steal a bunch of cards. Yep. For those two reasons, the fact that they're probably lying about the teen review, the ESRB teen rating also, I can't recommend this. Demon's Rise, as far as visual appeal, looks slightly behind the curve, but not awful. I've seen a lot worse top-down XCOM games, but these could also just be flipped assets. Look at that. Man, I am just burning through this. I'm burning through this daily quest. Like, we're just gonna have to play ranked. If ranked or random people. Let's come over here and almost certainly all of that's going to get turned into dust. Anytime I get a classic pack is probably all going to be dust, which means my main account will have the most amount of dust in the next expansion, which will be helpful. Let's get back to chat. Tragic Master said I got a legendary in my Tavern Brawl pack, Blood Hoof Carnan. Last week I got a Golden Groom. Super lucky 2 weeks of Brawl. Yeah, I haven't been that lucky. And then Tragic Master said good game. So let's see if Tragic Master wants to play, since I really just need to play weapons and overload cards, and I'm already up to rank 20 here. It would make more sense if I'm just trying to get up in rank. It would make a lot more sense for me to go and play my European or Asian account and get up rank on that. Alright. Next game we have is called Scary Defense on Steam. Let's see, the developer has made about 5 other games, all negatively reviewed. This looks like it's an asset flip attempt at, I mean, what is that game? It's the spoof of Minecraft. It's Roblox, maybe. Let's see, no reviews, 20% off for 79 cents. I don't think anybody would be wise to buy Scary Defense. Just trying to burn through games. Next game we have is called The Wranglers. It's the only game from this developer for $9.99, no discount. It looks horrible, and it looks like a weird combination of animal-like creatures and weird-looking creatures. It says it's an indie RPG, short player, anime, single player. I do not for a second believe it classifies as anime in any sense other than it's 3D CGI, and if you called everything anime like they do in Japan, then you might call this anime, but I don't think it deserves that title. This is just awful looking. The Wranglers. Moving on. Next game we have is called Starfighter General, that looks so bad that it seems like it's not even a finished game, and you have to actually compile the game yourself to get what is, I mean, this isn't even a second year video game programmer's project. This is the first project of the second year, unfinished. Says it's early access, 17% off for $2.48. It's, I mean, and you can't review these games. That's part of the problem, is you just cannot review these games unless you buy them, and some of them are so bad that nobody's ever going to buy them, to tell people that tell Steam not to do it. Gamasutra has an article creating a fake OS that feels like home in Secret Little Haven. So Secret Little Haven is a game that has a girl, I believe, was it a trans girl, I believe, playing on her phone in the old, not playing on her phone, but playing on her computer, and then it has like a fake OS, and so this whole article is about the fake OS that really just looks like an old Apple OS with some more colors and elements onto it. It really just looks like an Apple II operating system. Next game we have is called Restaurant Manager. a not very original name. 35% off for $2.59. It looks like it's pretty much a fake game with some asset flips in it. I pretty much every couple days have to remind myself what makes a fake game, what makes an asset flip an asset flip, because it's easy enough to, I shouldn't have done that, to get the two confused. And what I think makes this a fake game is the fact that I just don't think there's an actual game in it. And what makes it an asset flip is because the graphics look too good compared to the lack of effort. Here we have, let's see, 1 negative and 3 positives. The 1 negative is this game is a pile of poop, don't waste your money. And there's only 2 of them are in my language, which is weird. This game was released English, Spanish, and Russian. Like, I don't want to spend too much time on these games though, so let's continue to move forward through these, burn through. Next game, we have a game that came out on April 24th called the Snowboard Game from a developer who's made nothing else. It's $14.99. This is an interesting game because it kind of has the opposite of the dark screenshot syndrome you often see. This is a just all white snow screenshots because it's a snowboarding game, so it's really hard to tell, am I seeing a screenshot of snow and well, you know that you're looking at snow, but you're questioning, is this a good representation of snow, and does this improve or hurt the game? It's almost 100% all about the control and the feel of playing a sports games like this. Yeah, people that want to play a snowboarding game either want to go with an arcadey style of gameplay, where they clearly are not playing in a similar way in line with reality, or you want hyper realistic snowboarding where the controls feel exactly or as close as possible to what it would feel like to snowboard. And this feels like it's mostly realistic. We're not seeing any scores pop up or anything. Snowboarding is a more trick-based thing than skiing. It's very possible to make a skiing game where you just are skiing down the hill, where it's kind of ridiculous to make a snowboarding game where you're just snowboarding. The problem here is I think there's a game called Peak or Steep or something that came out that looked better than this. So by that comparison, I don't think it would be worth it to buy this game. Let's see what the negative reviews have to say. There's one negative review. It says, ultimately, I didn't enjoy this game despite the fact its beautiful graphics and fun landscapes. Couldn't have forced myself to like something I actually don't. Fair enough. Alright. Don't want to attack right now. Or just wait. I think I'll just wait. Played it with an Xbox One controller and the steering felt like a pain in the butt, falling down the whole time, and I could never get used to it. It was a miracle to stand on the board. Most of the time I got stuck somewhere. This review sounds like somebody trying to actually snowboard for the first time. Each time I exited the game, it didn't exit and crashed my PC. I had to restart. My computer had to exit. That's not good either. So yeah, I can't recommend the snowboard game from a developer who has nothing else on Steam when there's something better already on Steam from, I believe, a AAA, if not AA, publisher. Oddly, still, the more like this, does not point me to any snowboarding games on Steam, even though I know there is some kind of skiing, snowboarding, or climbing up a snow mountain game. Maybe I'm mistaken. Let's see, let's do this, and then do this, and then do this, and then the turn. Next game we have is called Death Toll's Experience. Death Toll's Experience, virtual reality artist is seeking to re-centralize the general public to the reality behind the abstract statistics of the hundreds of thousands of deaths in the Middle East. So this is from a developer who's done nothing else. It's $3.99. It's from a publisher who's done nothing else. It's an interesting idea, and the very beginning of this trailer has all of these awards. So this isn't as much a game as a virtual reality experience trying to show you all of the body bags of dead people who have died in the Middle East. So it's a political statement. I mean, of a small amount. Unless the numbers are wrong, the numbers are accurate. It certainly doesn't get to the nuance or probably propose any real solution. And you can certainly manipulate your statistics to say just about anything. People have always been dying and always will be dying. And it mostly is probably going to be a slap in the face to the United States, who's probably guilty of a lot of these deaths. Let's see. Here it says it aims to re-centralize the user to the casualties of the terrorist attacks in Europe, refugee deaths in the Mediterranean Sea, and the human cost of the Syrian civil war. The project challenges the lack of concerns that results from the frequency of such news on mass media. Here's the problem. Who's really going to buy this game for $4? All it really is a camera floating through, I assume, maybe some flipped assets of body bags. And I don't even think they're going to show any dead bodies in any of it. Like, let's see. Just gonna end my turn here. I think I'm supposed to be playing weapons anyways, so I should play this weapon. Yeah, I don't think anybody wants to experience Death Toll's the experience, and you'd have to have VR in the first place. Next game we have on Steam is Puzzle with Your Friends. Doesn't seem like the developer's done anything else. 33% off for $3.34. It's jigsaw puzzles, and it's certainly going from with your friends. Looking at the trailer here, it seems like you have a rather small selection of let's hit that, and let's do this, and then this, and in the turn. Like, I don't know how you would do jigsaw puzzles with friends or online. Like, does each person have their own mouse cursor that can pick up a puzzle? It seems like that is exactly the case. Either that, or only one person can actually do the jigsaw puzzles, and it's just like chat features, which that might also be the issue. The problem though is there's only 18 puzzles in this entire puzzle game, So I don't see how anybody's going to pay $3.34 for a jigsaw puzzle game that isn't a full-on infrastructure system that let's see, do this, attack. I should have played enough weapons now. There's only 11 positive reviews on this. There is a puzzle game I've already found, like probably 15 years ago, where you could just upload your own pictures and make a puzzle game, and that's probably peak puzzle games. You don't need to keep on buying them. Online feature is cool, but you probably could just jump on Discord for something like that, and in other ways communicate with your friends, chat with your friends while doing a puzzle. It's a slightly interesting idea doing jigsaw puzzles instead of playing Hearthstone while covering the news, but I imagine that would be way too slow. Next game we have on Steam is called Glitch Ball. It's free to play from a developer who hasn't done anything else. It looks like it is mostly a platform fighter with the twist of bouncing a ball around into scores. So it is slightly different and it's free to play, so you can't complain too much about it, but the first review I see does specifically say not recommended. Let's see. Let's play this and that, and then the turn. It says game is trying too hard to be minimalistic vaporware. Where are the expanded volume options? For example, I can reduce the volume of the music, but the sound effects are too loud, and there doesn't seem to be any online co-op either. Game expects you to play with a controller, which makes no sense to have some keyboard binds explained instead of controllers during the time. Glitch Ball, aka Vaporwave Pong. Oh, Vaporwave apparently is a game. Okay, well, I don't even really care to look up Vaporwave. Let's hit this, play this, do this. We already talked about the game Pizza Titan Ultra, I believe. Fast-paced action platformer Pizza Titan Ultra. This is one of these Tech Raptor articles, and I'm starting to follow Tech Raptor. They don't put out a lot, so I very possibly might be able to just read all of their articles. We'll go ahead and end the turn there. Next game we have is called Point, which Point is a short minimalist math puzzle game from a developer who's done nothing else. It's 20% off for 79 cents. To be fair to Point, even though it seems like it's a single screen game with just these puzzles and looks very much like a cell phone game attempt, it doesn't look very good. It's using way too much purple and silver and nothing else. I don't see anything completely wrong with this, and it is very much priced at the right point at 79 cents, although maybe it should be 50 cents. It has 10 positive reviews, no negative reviews. I could see people, if you really love math puzzle games where you're dragging around a point to other points to change the number you're dragging around a disc based on some linear pathways. Every end point on the linear pathways either adds or reduces to the number on the disc. The point is to get the disc to the final position at a specific value, which makes it a math game. And frankly, I guess I've talked myself into wishlisting it, even though it's not going to be great. It's not going to be awful either. Tragic Master, thanks for that, man. You had it, so thank you. Yeah, right now I don't even need victories. I just need to play combo cards, and that is it. So I'll be done. Sonic Mania Plus launches July 19th in Japan, according to Gamatsu. Wasn't really expecting that a new Sonic game would come out. I wonder, I don't know what the Sonic Mania name means. Is it a continuation of the original Sonic games? Because it kind of looks like that. Or is it something slightly different? It's not 3D Sonic games. I think what they may very well have done is moved all the main Sonic games to 3D and then created Sonic Mania. Was Sonic Mania the one that was made by the fan that they hired that was really good? It may have been. So that might be more of an important notice than I think. Anyways, moving on, Gamatsu has an article, Flow Love, coming to PS4 and PS Vita on August 23rd in Japan. With a name called Flow Love, you can pretty much guarantee that it is a visual novel, particularly also since it's a PS4 and Vita game. Yeah, it's a romance visual novel. I guess I need to start saying romance visual novels, because there are non-romance visual novels out there. It's just not a ton of them. Let's see. A game called Shining Resonance Refrain for the Switch launches July 12th in Japan. What kind of game is this? It will also, the American and European release will be available on the PS4, Xbox One, Switch, and PC. It was dated yesterday for July 10th. So, is there a Steam listing? Let's see if we can search this game and see if it's on Steam. It's not out yet. It's dated July 10th. Okay, so we can, looks like it's a JRPG game. So I'm not sure what specifically would push me to play this Sega published JRPG over so many other JRPGs, but I think I might wishlist it anyways. The thing very possibly could be that I just eventually decide it's not worth the effort to play Final Fantasy games, and instead I pick something shorter and simpler. Something like Ni no Kuni would probably be great if Ni no Kuni 1 was on there. Let's see, TechRaptor has an article, Wizards and Tencent partner for Magic the Gathering Arena. As I understand it, Magic the Gathering, the Arena, is for China and other Asian countries only, and that seems like it's weird. Like China, Thailand, Vietnam, Indonesia, Philippines, Malaysia, Singapore, Myanmar, Cambodia, Laos, and Brunei. Notice that they're specifically leaving out Korea and Japan as countries, which would either have their own licenses, or maybe Tencent being a government-owned entity of China just is specifically excluding countries that they're in competition with and that they don't like that much. Now for Western people, Magic the Gathering the Arena looks a lot like some of the other Magic the Gathering games, and none of those have been really great. One of these days they might make a really good Hearthstone-esque game, but I think Hearthstone has digitally eaten the lunch of Magic the Gathering, whereas arguably since Hearthstone doesn't have a yeah, since Hearthstone doesn't have a digital format, I mean a physical format, there's no actual Hearthstone cards you can buy. Thank goodness. Like, it seems like the world of digital and real world physical will forever be split. People will either be playing Magic, Pokemon, if anybody is still playing Pokemon card games, and Yu-Gi-Oh! In the real world, whereas in the digital world, Hearthstone kind of has it, because both Magic the Gathering and Yu-Gi-Oh! On their digital formats kind of suck. And so that just leaves other competitors like Gwent and Star Trek Adversaries, which aren't really much competition for Hearthstone. I suppose if Nintendo ever did a really good job of making a Pokemon card game, you might be able to win a lot of audiences that way. Moving on, PC Gamer has an article. Fortnite is confirmed for China with $15 million in esports investment. I imagine everybody saw that coming. Let's see. Gamatsu has an article called Infinite Zoom Adventure Game Path to Mnemosyne. Mnemosyne is coming to PS4, Xbox One, and Switch. Solve puzzles to recover your lost memories. Looks like an interesting game, and it seems like it's already available on Steam. So let's look at that Steam page. No, it's got a page, but it's not out. So, how to describe this game? It's labeled as an indie violent adventure. It's like this pencil sketch, black and white and grayscale world with a girl running around, and she's walking at specific points sideways to spin the entire world. And I think a lot of this is just going to be walking around to manipulate your environment. It has such a unique art style that I definitely want to play this game, even though I suspect it's probably going to be pretty short and probably a little too expensive. But it's caught my eye. And so whatever the name of that game was, Path of MN something, search that on Steam and you'll probably find it. We don't need to talk about this article. Xenoblade Chronicles 2 version 1.4.0 update launches April 27, adds 2 new rare blades for anybody playing Xenoblade Chronicles. I don't cover updates too much. I don't think I should, really. Gamatsu has an article, Brave Neptunia launches September 27th in Japan. Hey, anime-esque JRPG. I'm sure that the Brave series, I believe, will come to the West. I couldn't see. It seems like a 2D dungeon crawler, 3D in the overworld type game from what I can quickly skim from this article. It's only really showing a couple of screenshots. So we'll get some more of that. We already talked about Saga Scarlet Grace, which seems to be an out of nowhere new JRPG. Let's see. This. And then give this one poison. And then do this. And give me another combo card to play. There we go. Zenkai Zero launches July 7th in Japan. Zenkai Zero, The Last Beginning, is PS4, PS Vita, July 5th game. Let's see, what is this? It's a... I think it's an RPG, JRPG game. Looks like it has a bit of a dungeon crawler aspect to it. Like, they're talking about the voice cast, and I never talk about voice actors, particularly Japanese voice actors. So let's move on. Gematsu has an article, Grisai, Grisai, Phantom Trigger Volume 3 and 4 coming to PS Vita on August 2nd in Japan. Let's see what kind of game this is. Well, it has a Steam page. It's labeled as a visual novel with casual violent anime adventure. Let's look at this. The art style looks good. So it's one of those visual novels that you might actually want to play. Unfortunately for me, it's only Japanese full audio. It's not English full audio, and no game is ever going to be English full audio. Actually, this game has already come out, and it has 100% positive ratings for the past 27 user reviews for the past 30 days. Excuse me. But breaking up your game into Volume 2 and Volume 3 and Volume 4 for a visual novel kind of sucks. But if it's going to the Vita, maybe it'll come to the Switch? Yeah, I'm really nowhere as far as visual novels on my, like, I just can't afford to buy them, can't afford the time to play them. So I can only appreciate them for their pretty screenshots every now and then. Speaking of episodic, let's see, let's play this, then do this, then do this, and here, here, and here. There's a game called Ela Episode 1, ELEA. It came out April 24th. It's the only game from this developer. It's early access. It's supposed to be a indie space sci-fi game. But why are you going to release your first game on Steam in episodes? Like, the episodic release is not good. It never is good. And what's funny is this game looks visually appealing. It could just be a bunch of assets that have been flipped to show space stations that are very interesting and appealing, but on the face of it, it looks good. They are claiming a rating pending from the ESRB, which makes me kind of wonder if they actually are going through the process. Like, I think you can't actually get a rating for a for a game until it is out of early access anyways. So that could be like accurate description. It's 10% off for $4.49, but I absolutely just don't want to buy a game that may not have a finishing, a finalization of the story. Let's see. Here's a not recommended review, because I only look at negative reviews. Based on the screenshots and trailer, I was really looking forward to playing Ela. So when I went up the Steam store this morning and I purchased it right away, the game looks and sounds great. I have literally zero complaints in that department. It has a somewhat psychedelic intro and feel, which I can definitely appreciate. However, the overall experience with Ela at this time is disappointing. Its bugs and glitches and somewhat unintuitive progression have left me frustrated. Examples: even though the game tells you to left click in order to close readable items, half the time it doesn't respond to said left clicking. Alright, so it's just buggy. So you have an early access buggy game, which you kind of come to expect. Gotta keep playing these combo cards. But what really kills me on this game is the high price for a fraction of a game. Cannot justify that. Next game we have on Steam is called Viking Village. It looks awful. It's from a developer who's done nothing else. No discount, $9.99. Yeah, it looks like it's probably asset flips that have been merged together pretty well, but then there's no detail. So you're playing in just a brown ground platform to place your buildings and characters. It's, what kind of game is this? Strategy action RPG. Kind of like Age of Empires if it had a lot less options. Kind of looks like a mobile game that's been ported. Just nothing special about this. And it suspiciously has one positive and one negative, and the negatives in Japanese. Too expensive, not visually attracting. Viking villages. Play this and attack here, and attack here, and do that. Next game we have is called Chocolate Makes You Happy 5, which there have been 4 other Chocolate Makes You Happy from a developer called Blender Games, the same person who makes the Amaze series, which are always on sale, and same person that made Bitcoin Collector and Bitcoin Collector Spinner Attack. Fake games. You kind of have to call them fake games. Even though they might have slightly more polish and it's 25% off for 74 cents, it's pretty impossible to not call them, right, if not a fake game, they are so close on the cusp of being a fake game that you can't justify buying them. Chocolate Makes You Happy, by the way, is a series where you're kind of dropping bits of candy and trying to get them from point A to point B using some crazy physics. It really doesn't deserve any more description than that. Alright, we already talked about that. There's a game called Freak Show 2 on Steam. It's free to play, so you can't complain about the price. It says it's an early access free to play strategy indie game, and there's something here, but not enough. It looks like what it is a combination of a bunch of mini games added together, and these are like poorly made, poorly animated games, at least. Possibly what you might call a combination of student projects. For, like, I could imagine you could turn in a project like this and still get a B or C, and a professor might not complain about the graphics because you might just not have an animator on your team. But to sell it is a different thing. Even free to play, I guess you're not selling it, but that's kind of it. Let's see. Right here it says head artist ... Like, so they're not even naming the head artist. There's one positive and there's one negative review, and looks like Russian, and 3 positive reviews, only of which like, here's a recommended review that says Freak Show 2 at the moment is a game that is in a rough state with many unfinished features, but it does set a creepy enough atmosphere so you're interested in playing. Go ahead and check it out. I mean, it's hard to give a bad review to a free to play game, like, and that's why a lot of games are free to play. Tragic Master says this is 512 damage, hero power, 1 turn kill druid that he just defeated me with. Alright. Tragic Master canceled that. And now I just need to play a bunch of overload cards while I'm trying to burn through burn through the Murloc overload. Do I not have an overload deck? May have to delete something like this custom mage to make an overload deck. Unless my shaman deck that is called Murloc deck has a bunch of overload cards in it. And no, it really doesn't. I'll accept your deck in a second. Single shot. I'll accept your challenge in just a second. Let's get rid of this custom mage and make an overload deck real quick. Just need to type in the word overload. And we'll play all of these. And this probably won't fill up all 30 of my cards. Or maybe it will. Well, we've got to get a couple of these in here. So let's get rid of that and that. This. Get rid of that. And get rid of that. And do that. And I think that's good enough for now. So there. Single shot went to the tavern brawl while I was building the deck. Let's see, he's gonna be really just starting his game, so I might as well jump into a game really quick too and get these overload cards played. What was that? Said something, the game. Whatever. We've got a game on Steam called Aura of Worlds, A-U-R-A of Worlds. It's got some dark screenshot syndrome. It's got some blocky, lack of detail animation, kind of a Terraria feel, but not very detailed in that. Says it's an early access action indie strategy adventure. It's from a developer who's done nothing else. It's 10% off for $8.99. Seems really expensive. It apparently has gotten some reviews according to its trailer. But I just don't see anything here. Like, I don't see anything here that's too special or that locks in a reason that I'd want to play this game. Let's see. There's, according to this, no reviews whatsoever. But then I'm looking down here and there's several recommended reviews. So, did this game lie? Or is Steam just messed up? Maybe I'm misreading it. Yeah, it's, oh wait, no, 5 positive reviews, no negative reviews. Do that. I just don't see it. This looks like a platformer where you can swing and jump, and it has kind of a Terraria feel. But nothing special enough to grab my attention, so I'm gonna close that tab. Let's look back on the chat. Tragic Master says I have to get dinner, but thank you for the games. We'll be right back for the rest of the show. Good luck in the games. Decent possibility I'll be done by the time you get back, Tragic Master, but thanks for watching. There's a game called Supermarket VR and Mini Games. It's from a developer who's made one other game called Rome Circus Maximus and Sharoi Race VR. Is that what that's supposed to be? Chariot Race? Maybe that's Chariot? Yeah, that would be a bit make more sense. A VR game where you're running down a supermarket trying to get food, and as you're running down the supermarket you're also seeing every little texture on every box of food pop in if you look far enough. It says it's E for everyone. $2.99 requires HTC Vive or Oculus Rift. No reviews. The core question here is, what are the games? The extra games. With this game, you can go shopping. You can have the products in the shopping list with money and limited time. Avoid colliding with other people while buying. Seriously, is this what the games are? Just a big nothing? Yeah, this looks like it's written by somebody who does not speak English as a default. Seems like you've probably just asset flipped a grocery store asset. Now, here's a real question: is why did anybody ever make a grocery store asset in the first place? Like, I've very rarely played a game where you're in a grocery store. Let's see, Dead Island had a section where you were going through a grocery store and shooting people, but that's pretty much the only experience I can even think of. And see, most of these VR games, including this one, the demo has just evolved into them picking up a soccer ball off a shelf and throwing it at a wall. That's all VR ever boils down to, for the most part, is, oh, you can pick up this item and you can throw it in the real world. Well, and you can move your hands in the real world while throwing a virtual object. Anyways, moving on as I'm trying to close more tabs. PC Gamer has an article: Supreme Court ruling makes it easier for tech companies to slay patent trolls. The ruling allows the USPTO to invalidate patents without going to court. That's the United States Patent and Trade Office, I assume. The Supreme Court voted 7-2 to uphold an administrative review process that has helped tech firms like Apple, Google, and Samsung to invalidate patents without taking the disputes to court. An issue here is a reviews process that Congress created in 2011 to speed up the patent disputes and deal with potentially questionable patents, which arguably aren't they all. Let's see, play this and then do this and then do this. There was a different ruling also with patent trolls that has stopped patent trolls from having most of the patent cases heard in a specific East Texas district where the judge is clearly biased and gives favorable rulings most often to patent trolls. So now they've redone jurisdiction, so a lot of patent trolls now have to file their cases in one of the in a fewer locations that isn't their preferred location, because the judge is literally and obviously not being unbiased. So again, I kind of wonder if maybe all software patents shouldn't exist. It's a bigger argument to make, but it's something that we're going to have to consider at some point. Gamma Sutra has an article. Blizzard brings paid mods to StarCraft 2 with Premium Arcade Initiative. That doesn't sound good, but since I'm trying to go through things fast, I'm not going to bother to read this whole article. But StarCraft 2 paid mods, I don't think very many people would buy that, and I don't think people are going to be super happy with that. They certainly weren't happy with that when it was paid mods in Skyrim. PC Gamer has an article. The Samsung 970 EVO is close to maxing out the PCI Express x4 port, so an M2 stick for this NVMe SSD is probably close to as good as it's going to be until we get a better, even better standard for the M2 Connect, which is probably around the corner. I could certainly do for a 970 EVO M2 stick about a 512 to a terabyte of that, but it's probably going to be really expensive. And I really don't expect there to be anything better. The one thing that makes an SSD or an NVMe SSD a good value is if you're trying to move large amounts of data between two computers that have those NVMe's M2 sticks, then you can use your full gigabit bandwidth and not run into bottlenecks on your hard drive. Or if you're loading files, large files all the time, loading and unloading large files such as 4K textures for your video game, recording video while playing the game, and also loading up the levels. Like, there's certainly still games that take loading. Darksiders 2, you would think shouldn't have much loading at all. It still has some loading every now and then. Next game we have on Steam is called Telophase, Telophasc. Says it's a free-to-play action indie casual. It has kind of an Egyptian art style, but it's a top-down shooter, and some of the graphics look kind of okay, but then a lot of the graphics look MS Paint quality. I think this is a top-down shooter bullet hell game. It kind of looks like that, except for you're fighting the Egyptian gods, which is certainly an interesting move. A Telophase requires an Xbox 360 or Xbox One controller. It says it's free, not even free to play, so I can't really give it too much of a criticism. The two negative reviews. Not recommended says, I let this garbage run for 5 minutes on Alt Tab just so I could downvote it. Take your Xbox controller game to Xbox Live and off Steam. This game is worse than getting malaria. That seems pretty biased negative review. The other review seems to be in I don't even know what language this is. It's not English. Deal 3 damage. You think I've played enough Overload cards? If this graphics was a little bit better, I'd be interested in it. I mean, frankly, I probably should just take it for free anyways. Just install it and put it on my got free list, so I'll give a spotlight to it. Yeah, I can't really argue against that idea. Next game we have is called AI DOL, as an AI idol combined. It's with a game like that. It's from a developer who's put out a lot of, looks like, romance visual novels. But yeah, that's what you're expecting. Casual simulation indie visual novel or anime tags. The art style, let's get a good look at it, is slightly off. It feels like it is not a Japanese animator drawing it. It looks like this is probably a Westerner trying to do an anime art style, or just an incompetent animator in general. Take your pick. 10% off for $9.89 is probably way too expensive. Let's see, 2 positive reviews and no negative reviews. It was a Kickstarter game according to one of these reviews. I don't see anything really here that would catch my interest. It's English only with subtitles. And so the problem with making a game like this is, if you're a Westerner making a visual novel, and you're kickstarting it, you've got to hire somebody then to translate it back to Japanese to see if maybe you could get the major audience of visual novels, which are Japanese people, to play it. Otherwise, I think you're just not making enough profit. Rock Paper Shotgun has an article. Earth Defense Forces Weirdo Shoot 'em Up spinoff is PC bound. Let's see, what's the name of it? Let's see. Earth Defense Forces 4.1 Wing Diver the Shooter is out April 26th on Steam. So, I might be interested in this. Earth Defense Forces is a series, I think, where you fight giant insects. And if they turned it into a shoot 'em up, I probably don't want to play the shoot 'em up. I probably want to play the other Earth Defense Forces games. So I'm gonna have to do some investigation there. Let's see, it's from a new developer, but it is the same publisher. There's only Chambra, Z2 Chaos, also published that. So yeah, I'm gonna have to find an Earth Defense Forces game that I might be interested in playing. Let's play this and overload some more. Eurogamer has an article. Stellaris' next expansion is the Discovery themed Distant Stars story pack for anybody playing Stellaris. We're getting there. We're almost done. We have a game on Steam called Exoder, EXODER. It's a action indie platformer. It looks like it might be seizure-inducing, flashing lights too. It's from a developer who's made a couple of one other game that's positively reviewed. I'm not sure about this game, Exoder. 20% off for $6.39. I think the price is going to be the thing that kills me. It has like 3 positive reviews and no negative reviews. The artistic style, I think, is just a little too dark. Is part of the problem, and it seems like you're jumping or flying through some pretty minimalistic areas. Yeah, it just doesn't quite catch me, this game, Exotter. I read the ethics policy of TechRaptor. It seems to be some pretty basic stuff. It'd be nice if all websites made a big deal to show the ethics policy of all of the reviewers. It's based on the Society of Professional Journalists Code of Ethics, which I don't particularly know if that is the code of ethics to follow or not. I kind of wish I had somebody in charge of me that would say, hey, what you're doing here is not ethical if I am doing something unethical, so I could get like a editor to tell me, look, don't do that, or do that, or you can do this or you can't do that, because I really am flying blind, as all YouTubers, small journalists are. We have no clue. Humble Bundle has a Capcom X Sega PlayStation bundle. So if you want PlayStation versions of Capcom games, there looks like there's a decent collection you could get, depending on whether you have the games or not. Like, if you pay more than the average of $11.84, you get Resident Evil HD Remaster and Resident Evil Code Veronica 2 and some Mega Man Legacy Collections, Binary Domain, Alien Isolation, Sonic Generations. Some of those not so good. You get Dead Rising 2 if you pay $15 more, and Valkyrie Chronicles. Pretty big difference there between people who want to play Valkyrie Chronicles and Dead Rising 2. If you pay, I guess, whatever you want, in this case, you don't even have to pay $1 for, because they're not Steam codes. If you pay, I guess, 10 cents, maybe $1 is the minimum, you get Dead Rising and Dust Force and Crazy Taxi and Super Monkey Ball, some of the classic Sega games that are varied enough that somebody would probably be interested in at least one or two of those. And that only leaves me with my Twitter feed. So let's just quickly scroll down my Twitter feed and make sure the world hasn't come to an end. We've done every single daily quest, so we're good. We'll have 2 daily quests that we do on Friday, but we'll be doing the special solo adventure stream tomorrow, despite the fact that this says 1 week. If for some reason I start to stream and it's not available tomorrow, then apologies, there won't be a stream. That's just how it will be. PC Gamer has an article here that says, is the great graphics card shortage finally ending? Let's see. Also, that guy that wanted to play me left, so apologies that we couldn't make that happen. Let's see. Scrolling down to see what, if anything, needs to be talked about. I retweeted a YouTube advertiser's tweet talking about how 95% of all people who buy games watch a video on YouTube about that game first. That's great and all, and them saying that gaming is good for advertisers is great, but then there's certainly also some dishonesty in that, because being a video game critic is not as easy as it should be on YouTube. Like, YouTube doesn't help us make those type of videos and sort those type of videos and schedule those type of videos. They don't help us with content IDs, particularly when dealing with Nintendo and a few others. They don't really care to enforce any kind of fair use argument, and I don't think they're legally even allowed. At least they've sold that idea that they're not legally allowed to ignore some of these fake DMCA claims. But I arguably would say that they're working outside of the actual law anyways, so they can do almost whatever they want as far as DMCA claims until somebody actually sends the legitimate real DMCA claim instead of the look-alike form that YouTube tries to get you to fill out. Steam has this games from Denmark sale going on right now, so there are quite a few games there. Again, friend me on Steam and gift me a game. Now would be the time to pick any of those games out and show if you want me to cover them or if you just want to support me. There's a decent number of apparently Denmark-based companies that I don't think I would actually know on the face of it if the company was from Denmark or not. See, apparently the Xbox Marketing League has left Microsoft after 18 years. We'll talk about that on Friday. Not super surprising. After you hit the 10-15 year mark, it doesn't look suspicious too much. Let's see, YouTube creators are promoting some probably famous person. Resident Evil 5, Biohazard 5 number 17 aired 3 hours ago on my channel. Apparently there's a game that's selling itself as a Terraria meets Diablo game. We'll talk about that on Friday. Let's see. I saw a game that came out and it was Swords of Ditto. Actually, I was looking at it on Steam, and the creators of the game were actually live streaming footage of themselves playing the game right then and there via Steam, which is an interesting idea as a video creator. It's like, could I make a game, a cheap like fake game, and then just stream my YouTube channel all the time via Steam? Would that get me any views? Would that get me any ad revenue? Would that be helpful in any way? Probably not. But I didn't know Steam allowed video game creators to stream at all. 4 hours ago, Strider episode 11, Strider the 2014 remake, aired. I really do think people would enjoy watching that one. It was quite an interesting, just like surprise from the past that I'd never heard of. And like, I think I'm scrolling down to the point like Bionic Commando, the reboot number 16 came out 5 hours ago. Yeah, I don't think I'm gonna have anything else to mention. Not too much happened this Wednesday, and I guess that's fine. It's okay to have a quiet Wednesday. Yeah, as I'm scrolling down, drastically trying to see if I missed something. Some tweets I definitely have missed, and this is my Twitter messing things up again. Just show me this stuff. Just show me things in a chronological order, like you said you were going to, like the settings say you're going to. Yeah, because now I've scrolled down to a point where I've gone through a chunk of content I did already see, and now I'm seeing new content. So, like, I'm seeing an article from 7 hours ago, but I saw everything from a minute ago to 5 hours ago before then. Bullet Witch is now on Steam. Like, I don't, it's crazy. I might get down to the point where I only have 1 or 2 Twitter followers that I follow, because I just need to see everything tweeted from what's on Steam. And I'm still scrolling down, and I'm still finding new articles from 8 hours ago. How can that be? Finding new games from 8 hours ago. And I gripe about this every time. Here's a game called Vietnam War Puzzles. Yeah, I'm sure people want to do Vietnam War puzzles. Maybe I'll get some extra time and filter through some of these games so we don't run through a ton of them on Friday. Oh, if you're a fan of the IT crowd, apparently they're working on a second reboot of the series. Apparently Team 17 also has a new logo. There was an attempt to do the IT crowd in an American version that failed, but apparently now they're trying to do another reboot. The thing there is they kind of just need new characters and more stories and just a sequel, spiritual successor. The IT crowd, as a British comedy TV series, did all it could do, and frankly so much of its comedy was not based on actually nerd things or anything like that. It was based on just very specific characters doing very crazy things that you wouldn't expect nerds or geeks to do either. And so to continue that series, you need to introduce very specific funny characters again and move forward, and just have the slight background of it, them working in IT and some business, which was basically what happened. There's definitely entire episodes in the IT crowd that have very little to do with computers or anything. I'm still scrolling down. I'm still scrolling down, and I'm still finding new content to talk about for Friday. This is ridiculous. I can't take this just as a rumor, but I think most of the people behind The Sims 4 have been fired. Is I think the rumor I heard. So The Sims 4 was not making enough money apparently for EA, Maxis, and they fired a bunch of people, and I think they said they're shifting their focus to making a Sims 5 mobile game, and moving it all to mobile games. Maxis has been messed up terribly by EA for years now, and like, we need probably a spiritual successor and a better game, frankly, of something like The Sims, instead of just continuing down the path it's doing, because under the control of EA, they've done so many things that have made it way worse. I am still finding things. Apparently Elijah Wood is going to be at E3, so that'll be interesting, I suppose. I'm still finding things. Microsoft took actions against Rydo, the player-made Halo Online mod. So hopefully people downloaded that if they could. That was pretty obvious that was going to happen. PC Gamer has an article about Slay the Spire. That's a game that's come and gone. People have forgotten about it. There's a new DLC character for Dragon Ball FighterZ. Talking of another game that's come and gone. And finally, I've hit the bottom of my Twitter feed, it just refuses to show me anymore. So we click the button that goes back up to the top. And I had 5 more tweets by the time I had looked at all the tweets. It's just this never-ending cycle. Alright, so apologies if I've been sitting here for about 20 minutes and not doing anything. I think that's probably been the case. That's it for this stream. Thank you for everybody that watched and that played me and all that. As always, I ask you to like, share, subscribe, comment, and watch every second of my videos. If you want to friend or follow me on any social media sites, there's a bunch of links down below in the description. Thank you for watching. Have a good evening. Bye.